If you're in the stream, you probably don't even recognize me anymore without my scarf on. Yeah, I still have a really stiff neck. It's feeling a little bit better, but in the stream I had my crazy little scarf on, so I looked like a little someone said a European, but yeah, anyway, it was a fun trading day today. You know, we were really building up our position sizes, and we're up at like $300 profit today, which is okay for the fact that our average position size is still around $2,500. So we had a nice little profit chunk, but then my last trade, I went a little bit bigger size, a little bit too early, even though the setup actually ended up working, and I gave back half my profits, and I was like, oh, that was so silly of me. So that was really a silly mistake. You know, we could have ended today $400 or $500 profit easy, but you know, at least it's not a red day. So happy about that. And I think when we review the chart in a second, I think you guys will understand why that could have been an easy win, because we did the identical same trade on Friday with XPEV. Very clean, simple setup that I love. So it's always annoying when you butcher the best clean setups. It's always just kind of a little bit baffling. There was a lot of interesting moves today. Actually, I missed a really good one on JILL. So I want to review some of these setups that I would say are those really clean setups. I want to kind of give a little bit of a focus on that. Those amazing, clean, just simple, easy, bread and butter kind of setups that you can just do over and over again. I think the key part on these setups is you just got to get patient. You got to be really patient, and you got to get really aggressive when they actually appear, because you only have sometimes a very small window to actually execute the trade. So we'll review that pattern, we'll review the trades we did today, and then we'll review some swing trades that we entered as well. Without further ado, let's go to the charts now. Don't forget to drop a like, guys, if you enjoy the content. And if you're totally new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to see you again in our awesome community. Boom, let's go to the charts now. What's up, guys? So we got 9 trades we made today. Here we go, 9 trades. And let's go back here. We're up $166 today, which is nice. It's you know, a step in the right direction. A little bit unfortunate though, because VXRT was our last trade of the day, and I ended this one red. This was a red trade, and it was a little bit unfortunate. It wasn't the biggest loss. It was actually like totally manageable, but it was about like a $6,000 position size. So I took a little bit more risk on it. We'll review that one a little bit, because yeah, it's unfortunate, because this one should have easily been a break-even trade. Whatever. Okay, and JILL and then PSTV. Let's go ahead and talk about JILL first. This was kind of an interesting one, but it was very tricky to trade. 17 million float, sorry about that. U.S. apparel company with extended forbearance. Basically, that means they're going to have a little bit more longevity. They're going to have a lot of their loans with some extended deadlines. So it is good for a company. Overall, that kind of means this company should be, you know, sticking around a little bit longer. From a NASDAQ, a New York Stock Exchange, they have a minimum price actually at $4. So when this one fell off $4, I'm not sure if there's some dilution going on here or whatnot, but this is a really bad slope for JILL. This does not look good at all. I knew this one was a little bit iffy pre-market when I was looking at it. I mean, we had a nice little pop here, and then we had a nice little run here, 40%, and we had another nice run. I never actually ended up getting long with JILL. I'm not even really entirely sure. I knew this one in the past was a little bit tricky, and it was sub-dollar, and I wasn't really blown away with it. But coming close to here, 9 o'clock, we had a nice little pullback below the 9 EMA. And to me, at this point, I was thinking that this is actually on the backside of the move, because around a dollar, we have, you know, big resistance kind of coming up here. And I didn't really want to be part of this one above a dollar. But when we broke below the 9 EMA, I actually bought this near bigger multi-month support and resistance, and then I sold here on the small pop to the upside, used about $3,000 position size, so a little bit bigger. Then we had one more dip here. This one, I kind of tripped over myself. I didn't get aggressive where I kind of wanted to. Then I jumped on this one a little bit later with a not full size, and I was kind of weary about this one. I was like, I don't know if I'm totally just messing around right now, so I'm just going to close this one. Again, kind of left like 2-3% on the table. JILL out of the gates had a really nice breakout, and then it got halted, and then it continued up to the upside. It continued out of the halt to the upside. So really nice move here, 40%. Big profit potential with JILL. I just had a hard time trying to figure out how I was going to manage my risk with JILL. I did miss one phenomenal trade, and that was this kind of pullback here to 0.96, and then it popped up here like 8%. that was one of the key trades I wanted, so I was a little bit bummed out about that. And then we were talking about, obviously, this 0.65 area the whole time, multi-month support and resistance, and I actually didn't end up buying this one. This was a 17% move here. And I was like, oh, that was kind of silly of me. I mean, that was a pretty perfect move right at 10:30. Like, I should have been jumping on this one. Big support and resistance. So like the most obvious setups are usually the ones I'm jumping on. And, you know, sometimes you only get a few of those a day. And it's kind of unfortunate when I miss those. So shoulda, coulda, would have been a little bit more aggressive with JILL. But at least, you know, was our second biggest winner. PSTV, this was PSTV. You know, 4 million float, US biotech, FDA, orphan drug designation, which is kind of like a fast track designation, but kind of more specialized to, I think, drugs and bio, that second part I'm actually not sure about, but it's allocated towards very kind of more specialized drugs. So I think like if it's needed for like a population under 200,000 or something like that, an orphan drug designation is a little bit more specialized. It is a good designation, but in the end of the day, I mean, PSTV, I think the big problem with this one is the long-term chart. We know there's dilution with this one. We know there's a lot of shady stuff going on. I'm not going to be holding PSTV very long no matter what, and I don't think a lot of other people are going to be holding it, and I think there's a lot of back holders on a ticker like this, and anytime PSTV pops to the upside, you know people are going to be trying to dump some shares into it. So it didn't even hit this kind of former resistance zone at around $3. So a lot of kind of red flags here on PSTV. And then pre-market, this thing sold off so strong. So you guys always know that pre-market ticker selling off over 30% is a big red flag for me. I actually ended up doing most of my trading on this one pre-market. I knew this one I wanted to be careful on, but I love the cleanness behind it. So we had a really nice breakout here. We had good pullbacks, and then we had eventually that break of the 9 EMA. I do like to trade dips a little bit more than breakout and pullbacks. So I ended up buying this nice little dip here, sold very quickly, took my profits. Same situation here, had a nice little small dip here. This one I took profits too soon. We had a nice little dip here. And then I think on this one, I actually had a loss on. No, this one right here I had a bit of a loss on. This was really silly because I was actually up quite nicely on this one, like 3% or so. And I took half the position off, and then I sold the other half. I was looking for that breakout past the 9 EMA, didn't get it. And then I sold the other half kind of like at $3. So I think I had like either like a $5 win or a $5 loss on this last one, but kind of a scratch. PSTV out of the gates, I was really cautious with this one. I wanted a nice clean red to green move around 260. Eventually I did get that kind of move around 260. The problem was, the bounce was so weak. I was hoping we would have a break back above like 270 and then go into the 275s, break above the 9 EMA and maybe hit VWAP. That was kind of like my very aggressive goal on this one, but it never ended up happening, which is a little bit unfortunate. PSTV really fell off a cliff in terms of volume. So it wasn't really something that I was interested in looking at. Right now, it looks like a little bit of volume kind of popping back up on here. I don't know, it could be kind of interesting, but I don't really see myself trading PSTV or really anything anymore. KODK, this was kind of an interesting one. I found some big support around 7.5, which was just about a perfect double bottom. 61 million float, US specialty biz service company, and they had a hedge fund that had a stake disclosure, DE Shaw hedge fund, 4.2% ownership. I really don't think that was the reason for this ticker to be up. I think this is just a pure bottom bounce. I mean, this thing pulled off to really key 5.5 support and resistance zone, and I think that was just a little bit like there was just no sellers left. And any catalyst would have popped this thing to the upside. I think it would have popped today without a catalyst, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But I wasn't really stoked about KODK. I knew this was going to be a bit of a tricky one to trade. Had a bigger float. Not really something I was too excited about. We had one trade I actually did in my Webull account. You guys know I've been testing out Webull these last few weeks here. Not even really worth a review on Webull, but really quickly here, PRTH, 11 million float, US software and infrastructure company with, they were selling a rent payment business. So they had a kind of a division that they sold off And that was kind of interesting. So because of that, I was like, okay, well, you know, PRTH not looking like something I'd really want to be trading with that big sell-off here from the pre-market highs. But I do know that if we kind of scroll down here a little bit, right around here, it looks like we have a lot of support and resistance. So around like this 225 area, I went ahead and put a limit order at 223 on Webull. It got executed right around here. So I think it was actually pre-market got executed. We were at one point down like 6-7% on this trade, but I was using $500. I'm just testing out the interface a little bit. And then I set a sell limit order here before VWAP, and we actually ended up getting out here at 247, almost at the perfect high. So we had actually ended up getting like a 10% trade on this one. Again, I made like 50 bucks. It's not a big deal. If I lost, you know, 50 bucks, whatever. I was using small position size because I know I didn't really want to be watching it, and I just wanted to be testing out the platform a little bit, and I didn't want to be like super stressed trading with a $5,000 position size or so. Still a little bit iffy with Webull. I mean, I think TD Ameritrade is obviously much more user-friendly. It has much more options. It's just, for me, I'm totally used to it. But Webull is a pretty okay alternative, especially if you're just starting out for the first time, because then you don't have that kind of pre-notion where you're just like, you just kind of wish things worked a little bit different way. It's like maybe being a Mac user and then going to Windows and then trying to do the things that like is typical to a Mac. To me, when I use a Mac, I'm like, how do I even open a folder? I don't even know where my Explorer is. So it's just like, I think it's a bit total of just like getting used to it. So I'm just trying to get used to Webull a little bit. I'm going to give it a few more weeks and then ideally come out with a recap video on that trading platform on their desktop version. I did want to quickly recap actually our swing trades here. Actually, before I recap the swing trade, totally forgot. So we actually had that loss here as well, VXRT. And again, this is a little bit of a bummer. VXRT. And I'll tell you why this is a bummer. I'll tell you, and it's going to make a lot of sense, I think. VXRT had a really nice sell-off, and I know that sounds weird, like a nice sell-off. Like, how can a sell-off be nice? Well, I love dip buying. I love trading reversals. I unfortunately traded VXRT too soon. I was looking for a big bounce off at like 520. We never ended up really getting it. We actually ended up pulling here to 5. The problem with VXRT, I wasn't trying to watch this one. So what I did ahead of time was place a limit order at like 530 so I would be notified of an entry. I placed too high of a limit order, so I actually had like half of my position size filled. I should have only had like 10% filled. And the reason I sometimes place limit orders instead of alerts is because with TOS, alerts oftentimes don't go off. I don't know. Today the alerts worked a little bit better, but yeah. So we're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 5-minute red candles in a row. Huge amount of red candles. Yeah, so I averaged down into this as we kind of dipped lower here, and then it was looking like we were going to probably break the 90 EMA, but we didn't. We flushed down here like 5%, and I was like, that's a little bit more of a flush than I would want to be doing. So what I did was I entered a swing trade here at like 520. That's what we'll talk about in a little bit. And I ended up closing this one at 505, which was kind of painful. I was almost 100% sure that we weren't going to break $5. But if you're 100% sure about something and you're trading stocks or whatever you're trading, like that is a recipe for disaster. So no matter what, I get out of trades. I mean, you know, knock on wood, but I've been doing this for many years. So, you know, at one point you just learn like you just can't be overly biased about anything. So I bit the bullet and I closed at $5, which ended up being the wrong decision this time. I should have held, and I could have closed this one for basically what I entered at. So kind of walked away break even on this one. It's really unfortunate, I gotta say, because just, you know, take a snapshot of this one. I love trading dips, and just very quickly, look how similar this is. Let's go to XPEV. This is what I traded, I think, was that Monday? I'm not even really sure anymore. It could have been Friday. So yeah, XPEV was Friday. So same situation here. Big sell-off, big support. My first entry was a little bit too soon. I averaged down here a little bit better. And then I sold here on the perfect reversal. And then I bought the pullback, and then I had another trade. XPEV ended up being my bigger winner of the day on the, what was this, the 28th. So same exact setup. I gotta say, it's just ridiculous. So what I'm looking to do with, and talking about XPEV just very quickly here, like, This is really, really interesting. I was waiting for that break of 20, and I kind of actually wanted to buy in the break of 20 for a swing trade. So we'll see what we do on this one. I think there's some big support kind of coming in here. I'm not sure how much lower it's going to go, but going back to VXRT, this one is a VXRT. I'm kind of thinking that this one's a little bit like Kodak, where we had a lot of sell-off. So yeah, just check this out. So VXRT has just been selling off a lot, and there's no negative news. There's not even a lot of sell volume. It just had a big run up, and now it's having a run down. Totally normal. And right now we're at like a key $5 support and resistance zone. So I'm going to be looking for a possible bounce back to 6, maybe even back to 8. That would be very aggressive. I would like to at least see 6 and then a break, ideally higher from 6. So if we go to KODK, which I kind of put way too many lines on. This is a little bit cluttered, but KODK is a little bit crazy of a ticker. Similar situation, big sell-off, went back to $5, and then some bogus catalyst came out, and it jumped up 100%. Now, do I think that's going to happen with VXRT? I don't know. If we dip below $5, I'm going to be ready to average down in my position. I only did a partial fill here, and I would like to see this big multi-month support and resistance hold. Now, if we go into like the 4.5s and I don't really see this thing turning around, then I will probably consider cutting my losses. But for now, I'll keep probably averaging down around till around 4.5, and then I'll think, okay, well, is this going to keep selling off? Do I need to cut my losses? Maybe. But for now, I do like the risk reward around this big support area. I already did my first fill, so maybe we'll do a secondary fill, and I just realized I'm in the wrong account. So this is my swing account. This is what it looks like. I entered at 523 at 400 shares. I have more shares here at I think like 483, and then I'll do another 100 at like 450 if we reach those areas. I don't know if we will, but that's kind of my game plan with VXRT. Talking about swing trades, we had a RXT. You guys probably remember this in the recap video from yesterday. We entered the RXT swing trade. So we were talking about what I was looking for RXT. And, you know, we had a big breakout here. There was earnings that came out at 4 p.m. yesterday, and a bunch of analysts. Like, it was ridiculous how many analysts were picking up this stock. I mean, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, Berkeley's, you name it. There's just so many. Citigroup. So I was like, all these companies are increasing the price targets before earnings. That's kind of interesting. So what I was thinking was, well, if we have a nice retest to this 9 EMA, I'm going to start picking up some RXT. And this is what I was talking about in yesterday's recap video. So we had a nice dip down here. I picked some RXT up, and then pre-market, we had a really, really nice swing back to the upside. So this was a pretty sweet trade so far. I'm going to look for RXT to hold this area, and then ideally go into the 25s, and then I'll probably look to take some profits in that area. I'm going to be following the price action very quickly or very closely, and we'll talk about RXT pretty much during every stream a little bit. Yeah, but that's pretty much the nutshell of RXT. We're up $287 on this one, pretty nice for the fact that it's a small position size, and it's our small $25,000 challenge account. So that's pretty sweet there. The only other trade I think I'm long right now is space. Still nothing really new here. We've been up like 200. We've been down on this one. It's just a little bit iffy in this area. I've been waiting for this one to ideally break above 18 and really get into the 19s. It's having a lot of issues, so I might have to close this position. I'm not totally sure yet. I'm not fully decided, but I don't like the fact that this was a fake out. And I don't like the fact that this one didn't even get to the high of around 18.4. So my goal was to start taking profits in the 19s, but right now it's looking a little bit red flaggy, I gotta say. But I don't know. I'll hold it a little bit longer, and we'll talk about it all the time. You guys will obviously know if I go ahead and sell the space position. But for now, those are my swing trades. I'm probably not going to be looking at any swing trades in terms of the tickers that we were trading today, the small caps. I'm not really super excited about any one of them. I feel like, I don't know, I could be totally wrong. They could be great swing trades, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, this is looking really, really good. And I just don't really feel that about the swing trades we're looking at today. But I got to say, it's nice to see a little bit more volume coming in here. I like that, Kodak's a bit bigger of a company, but our small caps, with JNCE probably being the real main small cap, 177 million, and then $70 million volume on JILL. Again, I would like to start seeing, maybe tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to get it, a small cap with a $50 million market cap with 500 million in dollar volume. That's really what I'm looking for by the time it's, 11 or something like that. That's really what I'm looking for. So hopefully we're going to see a little bit more action coming into the small cap space, which I could totally see coming because, Tesla and Apple, they're all starting to pull back a little bit. Tesla down 3%. Apple is actually holding the highs really, really well. It's just, a lot of red flags kind of popping up in here. These kind of like cracks of momentum. And you guys know that I'm always looking for cracks of momentum of when I'm trying to take my profits on swing trades. And that's kind of what we're seeing now, especially with Tesla's, they were just, 5 million shares that they're now dumping on the market. So great for them. They're raising capital. That's phenomenal for Tesla. But, for investors, it's usually not the best short-term thing. So I'd be a little bit nervous about Tesla at this point. I think we may have hit our temporary high here at 500. Who knows? I've been wrong about Tesla like pretty much every time. So no point for me to even comment on it. But what I'm looking for Tesla is a nice pullback and a healthy pullback. And then I would love to, add to a, investment fund, the Tesla position. So yeah, nothing really too crazy there. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up there. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy the content. If you're totally new, don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to see you again. Till next time, guys, stay safe, make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.